Hi there, welcome to Heart Explained Therapy. Now, I just wanted to say a small sort of few comments on the food parcel that's recently photographed, and I just one of them stories that I just don't understand how this even happens. I don't understand how someone actually packs something like this, and obviously they go from a speck and they think that that's going to feed a child for a week, and rightly so. It's made the news, and the company has apologised, and it's basically highlighted that we've got a massive problem with the system. Now, if you haven't seen this, Google this story. It's basically the government are sending food parcels to people's houses now because they're not feeding kids. Kids aren't going to school, so they're sending these food parcels for kids at home, which is a very good system that we've got in place, that we support families that are struggling. But this lovely gesture is going to be flipped on its head shortly, because not just because of the story, because of what we should actually be doing. Now, basically, there was not enough food in this parcel to last and make a meal per day for the whole week. It was absolutely shocking. A few yogurts, a couple of bananas, I think something ridiculous was thrown in there, and it's a disgrace basically. It's not right, and it's bang out of order, but they have a budget, and some company gets to use this budget, and it's probably corrupt halfway down the line, like most government private things are. There's probably a lot of people employed in the HR department. They're on a large amount of money given to some poor packers, £8 an hour, and a delivery driver on £10 an hour to take these, that's been set up short notice, and it's basically crap. Now, the problem arises in, what are we going to do with the problem? Now, I've seen that some so-called influencers has jumped on the bandwagon like they normally do, and these big Instagrammers with 100k people are jumping on anything that suits them at the moment. Black Lives Matter comes on, they're all promoting and joining these crowds of people protesting, and now they're jumping on this, the Man United player Rashford sort of campaign. And it's quite strange, because a couple of days later they're doing this post where they're just completely vain and absorbing the attention, because they've just spent £1,000 on a bag the size of a first class stamp, and it's just shows up the world for what it truly is, which is, even with the people that you think are doing something positive, they're jumping onto bandwagons because it suits their agenda, which is personal vanity and personal gain. Now, I'm trying to tackle this problem with a look at why it's sad, but a look on how we can fix the problem. How can we fix, single parents not being able to give their kids a decent meal? And there's some very dark areas where this goes into, knowing about psychology and the human mind. Now, you'll have a large majority of people saying that parents need to get jobs. It's that simple. The jobs that these people are going to get, because they've got no education, even if they got off their arse and got a job, right, which they can't get off their arse and get a job because of certain things, which I'm going to explain now. The single parent or a working class couple only earn a livable wage as in to pay bills. They haven't got spare cash or spare money. Some of these couples on even £9 to £10 an hour jobs, that is actually not enough to get holidays or to pay for a decent meal for their kids. If they've got 3 kids and you'd say, oh, they've got to work. When they go out to work, there's a system in place where half of their money goes into childcare. So them staying at home means they have this certain amount of money, and then this going to work, oh, they have more money now. But the childcare cost means that nothing has changed, and this is what stupid, moronic people who have never gone without electric or gas in their life. They've never gone to bed with a grumbling stomach, right? This is what you've got to understand. It's not about getting a job. The average paid job is shit. These people don't even know how to look after the small amount of money they have. Now, it's not because these people are stupid as you think they are. It's because they're poor and uneducated. They need to have drugs most of the time, drink and cannabis and other probably substances just to survive mentally, because they are so badly damaged from their own parents that probably caused chaos in their life. And this is just a knock-on effect, and it's not saying that it's okay for a bum to be on universal credit all his life. I'm not saying that. I reckon 80% of people on universal credits have limbs and could easily answer the telephone at home if that's all they can do. They can do this. I agree. Most people can work. But we've set up a system. There's a loophole in the system because the system set up that the going to work and claiming universal credits ends up being no different. You can get universal credits, it pays for all your bills, and you'll be left with 300 quid. Or you can go to work, end up paying CSA, that ends up being a percentage of your money out, full rent, and you end up on the same. There's a loophole in the system that people, I'm not saying most of them take advantage of it, they just use the system that's there. And I agree, we could kick them up the arse. But we've got to pull the plug on that system. And pulling the plug on the system isn't leaving people who really need universal credits because they can't work because of disability reasons. And I'm not saying sprained your arm in a factory 3 years ago. I'm not saying like disabled to me is disabled where you can't work, and I see lots of disabled people even working nowadays. So these people, you know who you are, you know if you can work and get off your arse, you choose not to do it. What I'm saying is if we change the system so we make the average job worth something. I mean, years ago forklift truck drivers could get £15 to £20 an hour. They've advertised for £10 an hour now. Van drivers £10 an hour. Even the rates for nurses are coming down to something, and a degree. I heard a story the other day that a trainee barrister is on a minimum wage after the time and hours is all worked out. You're pushing all the average jobs down to people, and they're just surviving. And this cannot stay like this, because people would rather sit at home and claim universal credits and go to work, because why should they if they're no better off? You've got to give them a carrot that makes it better off. People have been rented properties, another flaw in the system. Some people out there can get a mortgage for only half of their rented property and they could pay it easily, but they can't save 10 grand. They can't save 10 grand on their wages. You've made a loophole that poor people stay poor, and this is what we've got to get awake to. So it's a small story about a lunch pack, but it's just a bigger problem that the government or nobody deals with, and poor people stay poor, and posh people look down upon poor people and say you're dumb, you're stupid, and it's like, hold on a sec, you've got an opportunity, you've got a chance. If you want a house, you borrow 10 grand from mummy and daddy. That doesn't happen to undereducated poor people. They can't break the cycle or the chain unless they basically, you know what it means for a poor person, a rags to riches story to really happen. I'm not about the rags to riches borrowing off mummy and daddy to get my own business. I'm on about a proper rag to riches story to happen. You need to have a great skill, a mind that can overpower all the belief systems that keep you down here and say you can't dream, you can't be anything different, you can't be this different class that's in the structure of hierarchy that you see around you. You can't smash through that because it's not a reality we want you to see. Now, there's nothing we can do about that other than highlight it as it, you know, what the way it is. It's a bigger problem than just poor people getting jobs, and it's a bigger problem than government just sorting out food parcels. You know what, if you doubled that food, the government still aren't doing enough, but they'll pump millions of pounds into weapons, they'll pump £1 million into this Brexit deal, they'll pump £1 million into the next campaign for a Conservative or Labour leader, and it's like, come on guys, you know, stop claiming your tax back on your second house and give that money to poor people. And the truth is, you don't want to do it, and this is where the conspiracy theories get fed, because it's like, it's black and white, it's clear as day. You don't want us to bridge the gap to wealth, and wealth could sort out so many problems, and we're just not willing to do it.